We got a real serious one this week.
We do.
And my tone conveys it.
Yep.
In all its seriousness.
Yes.
I feel like I'm actually kind of doing it a disservice because it is rather serious. But I'm excited because I really liked this one. And based on the trailer alone, I wasn't totally sure.
Right.
I was like, it seems like a bit of a bummer.
Well, yeah, when I was hunting.
Yeah.
You know. But it is serious.
Yes.
It provoked conversation.
A lot of it. You had to edit out a lot.
I did. This was, folks, when we do these episodes, I edit out, like if we sometimes, like quick want to step away and take a break, the every now and again, the cough or if something weird happens. I have not edited content, hence the, 2 hour and 45-minute interview with Liam.
Yes.
We just let him go. I cut about 40 minutes.
Yeah, because we got, fired up talking about stuff.
Fired up about the subject matter, because it hits us close to home.
Mm-hmm.
And, we know, the movie, obviously, just by seeing the stuff, it has to do with farming. And we have each been on farms. You grew up. I lived for a little while. I worked on farms, and just by virtue of where we are, a lot of friends grew up on farms or have farms right now. And this has been a lifelong kind of exposure to it. And so this was we had a lot of talk that had nothing to do with the movie. And it just didn't serve, but, this is the kind of thing that, the stories that need to be told type of film is what we end up calling it. And it is one that still needs to be told, even though this was 2014, I believe.
Yes.
So anyway,
a couple of real quick things I wanted to just say, because I did a little reading after we talked about the movie and I discovered a couple of things.
Yes.
The director, this was her debut feature film.
I know.
Yeah.
What? This was awesome.
Yeah. And she also happens to be a microbiologist.
Right.
Which is pretty interesting. So she knows an awful lot about her subject matter here.
Mm-hmm. And it shows, but it's not sciencey, folks.
Right.
This isn't,
it doesn't hit you in the face with a bunch of science.
Yeah, it's not like Contagion. Right. Or Outbreak. Right. or any of those disease.
Or our first draft of Plan Z.
It was like 150 pages, wasn't it?
It was wild. Yeah.
8 solid minutes of pontification over hard science.
We were so excited about our science, though.
I know. We had to cut it all.
It's for the best.
But we'll tell you. Well, yeah. But anyway. It's, she doesn't have a large IMDb list.
No.
Which is sad, because, you're going to hear it. Awesome.
Yeah.
This movie, for a first time especially, awesome. The amount of talent from her as a writer and director is just phenomenal. Everyone involved was phenomenal. And, being an indie film, the level of production just means that she got people who were also phenomenal.
Yeah.
Doing all of the unseen stuff. So, yeah.
It's one I'd recommend you watch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, maybe, look at the subject matter after the film. Have some conversations.
Yeah.
We have I kept some of it in, obviously, because it was unavoidable.
Sure.
But it was like this was really good. Oh, by the way,
you know what really gets me fired up?
Yeah. Just so it's clear before going into it, we are not disparaging farmers. We have the deepest admiration and love for what they do. And our angst comes from how, the world in general, but mostly how America is fucking over its own farmers at such a monumental level. See, this right away, we could begin, an hour intro. But anyway, that's it. Farmers, we're behind you 100%. And if there's something we could do, we would, and maybe one day we can. But for right now, we can talk about people like this who make these kinds of movies and how real this shit is.
Yeah.
You know?
So find and watch this fantastic movie. But right now,
let's give it a listen.
Listen to us talk about it.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right.
Hey, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
Doing your most cheery cheer in quiet over there.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like it.
Wow.
Didn't trip me up, though. Sorry.
Fine.
Well, what can you do?
I'll try again next time.
Indeed. I'm sure you will. So, we have another great movie. Another wonderful little find.
Yes.
From the carefully curated list
Indeed.
of endless Tubi searching.
So, yeah. But we have a lot on that list, so I'm excited to get to them.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to them.
Yeah.
This was one of those, whatever's next on the list is what we're watching.
Yeah. And it was interesting because the trailer for this film, when I first saw it, I was like, looks like kind of a bummer. But, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean?
No. Well, not everything is fun and horror, right? In indie film.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's about story.
Yeah, it's 100% story.
Yeah, this is a wonderful story, an important story.
Yes.
And
yeah. Well, it's a wonderfully told story. The story itself is terrifying.
Okay. Yeah, let me backtrack. The story is horrible.
It's not happy.
In what it entails. But it was marvelously written.
Yes.
Let's say that. And performed and directed.
Yeah.
So a lot of good stuff. I wanna get on my bitch box for a second here.
Okay.
Because, this is a great movie. It's an indie film. These people are folks who, like most indie artists of any kind, are just putting it out there, struggling, just working so hard to be seen, to be noticed, and put up great stuff. Right? With little to no money, no fanfare, none of that. So anyway, I was listening to an interview, not going to say who or where, today, and it pissed me off royally.
Tell me about it.
I will again.
Yes.
You have to hear this like earlier. You have to hear it again when I piss on about it.
That's okay.
I'm just going to shorten it up. Folks, if you're out there and you're one of those people who is working in film, especially in Hollywood, right? And you have parents who were both and maybe still are in Hollywood in high level areas, and their parents on each side were in Hollywood. Okay. And everybody paid for your schooling and everything, and you fucked around and they just kept like throwing money at you and got you a job. Right. You have nothing at all to bitch about. You have lost your purchase in this is so hard bullshit. When you've been silver spooned all the way in, not like, they got me a job as, some PA. Okay. That's different, right? When you're like weaseled into like a director's job right after you walk off the fucking stage from your graduation.
Right.
Because everyone's pulling strings and they keep you there. I get pissed off hearing about these people, right? These whiny bitches.
Yeah. Because if you hate it so much, stop doing it. There are plenty of other people willing to take your place.
Right. And be respectful of the fact that you've had everything handed to you.
Yeah.
Okay. And You have not suffered the way most people do, actors, directors, and stuff, right? The directors, a lot of times go to film school, and there isn't like a Hollywood director who hasn't schlepped the shit,
Yeah.
right? Whereas an indie film, you can decide, I'm going to make a movie, I'm going to be the director, boom. But then, you're not silver spooning yourself because you got no fucking money, you got nothing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, our kid wants to be a voice actor.
Right.
And so she was telling us, a couple days ago in the car, she was like, well, I don't plan to go to college because what I want to do, like, there's no degree for it. And we're like, well, darling, you don't have to like get a master's or a doctorate, but you can get a degree in performing arts.
Right.
Right. And taking those classes helps you get the experience that you need.
Right. Not to mention there are acting schools.
Oh, there are very prestigious acting schools.
So many schools of arts.
Yeah.
Especially in film and acting and voice and everything.
Whether it's or not, it's worth the money that needs to be paid for it is questionable.
And I love that she had such a uninformed, simple view of, because the whole conversation came about, we've told her when she's an adult, when she's 18, right? We're not kicking her ass out. Our rule is you're either working or going to school of some kind.
Right.
Right. So if you want, like, I don't know what I want to do, I don't want to start a school. Okay, fine. But you need to get a job so you can, we're not going to, you're 18, 19. We're not giving you an allowance.
Right.
We're not going to make you pay rent or your share of the utilities, any of that stuff. We will support her no matter what. And if she's going to go to school, especially, you can stay home, if that's possible. Depends on where we are and where the school is. But we will get her through.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, unfortunately, unless we hit it super big and end up in a fucking Emmys red carpet event, where we're the feature, we're not going to be able to do much more than encourage her
right.
to, keep applying, keep auditioning, all that stuff,
Yeah.
Anyway, so I love that because this gets complicated quick. This whole industry, indie and a film.
It does.
Anyway, so what pissed me off about the interview I was listening to, and here's the reason I listened to it is because it was a woman, and I thought, oh, this might be someone we can look at because she's supposed to have done indie film. I'm like, oh, I don't remember this being on our list. So when I get home, I'll check it out. But after listening to this interview, fuck no. Fuck no. The only way we would watch one of these movies, like I said, is if I could pirate it, because I'm not putting a penny to this person. She literally spent almost the entire interview complaining how hard it is to write scripts. Like, okay, so then don't be a writer, I'm thinking,
Right.
But then she whined about, oh, my parents got me in as a director on an episode for a TV series. I'm not going to say which one, but it was a high-powered one.
Yeah, it was a pretty big one.
They got her a job with no goddamn experience on a major series.
Yeah.
To direct an episode. That was so hard. And then I'm like, okay, I'll give her a little leeway. First time can be hard. I get it. She's been at this for fucking years and years and years. She's like, oh, it's just so hard. So seriously, that was like, it's so hard to try to come up with ideas for scripts to do my own stuff. And it's so hard directing. And then someone will call me because, someone got her in for
sounds like she's in the wrong business.
Jesus Christ, sounds like she's on the wrong planet. This was the height of entitled, whiny bullshit. So anyway, in defense of all of the people who are, basically walking on their knees through gravel and glass to try and get some sort of reward for being a creative, fuck you.
Right.
If you've had everything handed to you, don't go on an interview and complain. In fact, you know what? Just shut the fuck up. Don't talk to anybody about it. Don't even write it in your journal in case somebody accidentally finds it, right? Don't TikTok it, Instagram it, reel it, tweet it, Facebook it, nothing. Just shut the fuck up and either go get a real job somewhere else or just shut up and suffer in silence as you do all the jobs that there's at least 1,500 people waiting in line to have just that one chance.
Right.
Right. But they don't have a parent in Hollywood or 6 fucking people, 2 generations, in Hollywood. Come on. God. Anyway, so that made my grocery shopping trip a little bit pissier because it was a heavy day. They were packed and all the little aggravations. Every time I turned around, it's like, oh, this goddamn woman. Shut up. And I'm thinking, why didn't the interviewer just stop? I would have just like stopped, turned the microphones off. I'm like, look, I'm sorry, but I don't know what this is. This isn't anything I want my name on,
Yeah.
But hey, everyone does it different. So with that little bitch out of the way, we do have, well, hopefully somebody we haven't heard in an interview complain about this kind of work, So yeah, well, today is Mother's Day.
Yes.
So this will be 2 weeks out.
As of our recording.
Yeah. Happy belated Mother's Day. Just trying to think. Really not a lot of big stuff going on that I am aware of. It's been kind of a news blackout this week too for us.
Yeah, I get real fired. I don't want to bring it up on here because I get real fired up and I could talk for.
Well, we all know what the talk across the nation is,
yeah.
Right? It's the leaked brief, and yeah, this isn't the place for it. Like the majority of people who have some sense were infuriated and just waiting for the last, the other shoe to drop, and then figure out
the coffin.
Yeah, where do we fucking go from here? And then figure out how to continue raising our daughter with a giant step backwards in women's rights, and how we can, make her actually look forward to growing up. I mean, this is just one more step. Go back to making women second-class citizens. Anyway.
I just want to say this.
Please.
It was like the day that I brought Lily home from the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I was, as all, most post-pregnancy women are, like, it was very emotional.
Well, yeah. I mean,
right?
All the preparation, thinking, and being pregnant that whole time, none of that prepares you for the reality of when you leave that hospital, you're back in the real world. And then you walk in that door, you're in your world.
Yeah.
And it is permanently, vastly different.
And I remember very vividly, like all the time there are stories about like, women's rights and just kind of this like world in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just read some like upsetting news story or something. And I was sitting out on, the back porch with Lily in my arms, and I just started crying, and I apologized to her, this infant, profusely for bringing her into this shitty fucking world.
Yeah. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, you have a new life. And it's just like, and all of us know it when there's been hard times in the world. It's like, well, we didn't ask to be here. This is kind of,
right.
There's always that feeling of it's just unjust,
Yeah.
But I mean, we're here, we grow, we have to cope.
Right.
And all that shit. But yeah, it's kind of a thing. And that's what makes this super important, because there are people who super strongly feel for no other reason, right? Not my body, my choice, not this and that. Simply, I do not want to have kids, right? Because this is not a legacy. It's not going to get better.
No,
it's just going to be, we'll fix one thing and another thing is going to break. I mean, it's checks and balances.
Yeah.
Right. We've never been okay. We have never been okay. There's always something. And those always somethings keep getting worse and worse and heavier and broader and longer reaching. And people sit and think about it and they're like, no, I don't need a legacy. I don't need to carry on the family and all that, crazy shit. I'm just not bringing a kid into the world. And, we are at the bottom of it.
Yeah. And I remember that a lot. I was just crying and I'm so sorry. There's no way that I can make this world the one that you deserve to have.
Yeah. And I don't like, jumping on people who have optimism. Like, well, if you do this, okay, well, no, but don't tell people they need to get involved to make change. I mean, clearly you do, but let's be realistic about the change. Okay. There haven't been enough changes in this world from day one. And we have had several thousand years to sort this shit out. And we have not come close. We just haven't come close. So the foolish concept of if everybody gets involved and stops this one thing from happening, everything will be all right. No, it's one thing out of about 10,000 things.
Yeah.
Right. And if we fix 100 of those things, there's still 9,900 fucking things. It's never going to be okay. And we can make things a little better. We can stop choking the planet. Right.
We can try.
Well, I mean, we can try and we can maybe even succeed, but that comes at a cost. And, mankind is just not ready, or humankind is not ready for that kind of thing. I mean, we couldn't get people to fucking wear masks. Let's just leave it at that, right? You're going to end global warming. You're going to end pollution. You're going to create new fuel systems and energy that doesn't consume and destroy. Just when you're thinking about that, and you think, yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to do this, this, and this. I want you to just stop and go, oh, yeah, we couldn't get people to wear fucking masks. So good luck. Anyway, another cheery day. Blame the government for that.
This is going to be the most depressing episode ever.
Not really. It actually kind of fits in because what we're going to be talking about is we love stories that touch on things that 80% of America just doesn't get. And it's not because they're ignorant and not looking. It's just because it doesn't actually reach them.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of things, beauty and sorrow, that happen in this country in rural areas, sparsely populated areas that honestly they just don't push out and reach the news. So they go unsung, good and bad.
Yeah.
So we love finding things like this that bring it.
Yeah.
And then with this show, if we can get all 7 of you listeners to watch this, maybe you'll share it. Right?
Yeah.
And so on and so on. That's kind of how it works. But got no other announcement. Oh, I do.
Okay.
Next week, not only are we having the big bonfire for the girl for her birthday, but the following day.
Oh, yeah.
Where are we going?
We're going to see Neil Gaiman.
Yes. Now, some people are like, and? Okay, understand this.
I've told people and they're like, who? And right? I'm like, stop.
I did it too at work. They're like, what do you got comments? Well, not this weekend, but next weekend. And nobody. But here's the thing. For those of you who do know, what makes it an even bigger deal is it's happening here in Madison. We don't have to travel to Chicago or Milwaukee or Minneapolis. It's coming here to Madison.
Yeah.
Madison. Literally 10-minute drive from our house.
Well, he lives in Menominee.
But these things don't happen here,
I know.
Is what I'm saying. I don't care if he lived next door to us. That would just make it even more of an insult. Dude lives right next door, and yet I got to drive 4.5 fucking hours to hear him talk about books. Isn't that a bitch? So anyway, yeah, that's exciting. It's exciting. Nab some tickets for that. Taking the girl.
Yeah.
Because, just.
She knows who he is, but maybe because we're her parents.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. So it'll be interesting.
I'm excited.
I wish Jeff was coming with him, sort of like a buddy trip. That would be. I should reach out to him this week
and be like, "Hey, we're going to see Neil."
Yeah. So your best friend's coming into town. Why don't you take some time off and come see him? Oh, and while you're here, let's have some late night coffee after the thing.
Yeah.
Because I would love to sit with Jeff.
Oh, I'd love to sit and chat with Jeff. He's such a sweetie.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's talk about this wonderful movie, uh, a female or created film,
Yeah.
and then let's
With a
talk about it.
well-written, like, strong female lead.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get into all that shit.
Okay. So the movie is called Runoff. It was put out in 2014, written and directed by Kimberly Levin, starring Joanne Kelly, Neil Huff, and Alex Schaefer. Rated R. I think that was just for the drug use.
Yeah, because it was pretty straightforward.
Right.
Yeah.
I do not know what the budget was ultimately, but I do know that there was $20,000 raised on Kickstarter for it. So this was a Kickstarter baby.
That is hard.
Right.
Because there are people like David Axe has put money in. We've pretty much everyone Hilton has done it.
Mm-hmm.
Put some money in, but then you have to go raise some more. And Kyle's doing it. It's like, we've got all this, but.
Or they raise for post or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the budget was. I just know that.
Okay.
The log line, the plot is: the beauty of the land cannot mask the brutality of a farm town. As harvest draws near, Betty confronts a terrifying new reality and will go to desperate lengths to save her family when they are threatened with being forced from their land.
I think that sums it up really well without tipping its hat.
Right.
To the housing wise, which I respect that.
Right.
You know. So yeah, before we get into this, like you, I saw the trailer. I thought, wow, this is
heavy.
It's gonna be a heavy one.
Heavy.
But again, all movies don't have to be making you laugh, all that stuff. So let's talk about what's going on with this this thing here. So we open up in a cornfield, and it's just kind of a slow pan, right? And we hear some like fast moving footsteps, and then kids' voices kind of off camera in the background. And then we hear the sound of a plane. And I wrote crop dusting plane because it's only ever the same sound.
Yeah.
Right. Crop dusting is still almost exclusively biplanes.
Yeah. Right.
Or at the very least, an older single that can carry the thing. So it's like, and then we see a woman working with bees, and she's checking the hives, smoking out the bees. We cut to a man showering, and then he's suiting up in like a protective jumper.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like a hazmat suit, but it's, one of those things you put on over you, and then you put your gloves on, rubber boots and stuff. So
yeah, like just a white full body disposable jumper.
And then hair covering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we come back to the woman is inside and she's cooking breakfast for her kids. And then we cut to the man walking through some pigs, and he's got an injector gun, and he's talking while he's giving these shots, right? We find out he's talking to the pig farmer, and he's talking about antibiotics, and it seems like he's trying to sell his service. We cut to one of the older kid is sitting on the edge of the road sketching roadkill.
Yeah, it's a dead raccoon.
Yeah. It's good.
It's a good drawing.
It's good. And at first I was like, but then I'm like, oh, this is super rural. Of course. Now it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot going on. We see that he has a massive black eye. And then a truck drives by with, I think there were some kids in it. Anyway, we heard someone yell freak.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to some kids tossing rocks on pavement. And all of these things set up for a very rural atmosphere. And I wrote, it's not a small town, it's a farm town.
Right.
And I want to just take a second to explain that. For folks who don't know what a farm town is, it is literally just a bunch of farms all spread out. And somewhere is a nexus of two roads. There's that one intersection.
Yeah.
You'll have a bar. You'll have like a general store, almost like a farm and fleet with food, right? Or maybe one of those and a small food general store kind of thing. Anything else that happens is absolutely about farm equipment, farm maintenance, seed, feed, everything. There's literally nothing else here. Maybe not even a post office that might be at the county hub.
Right.
Right. So there is no walking into town. It's like 4 buildings.
Right.
And that is not a small town. That's a farm town. And it is a very different level of living. Then we see the woman, she's driving an old pickup, which tracks, listening to the farm news. And namely, it's the prices of crops. You know, soybeans are up, this and that, so much a bushel and different things.
Right.
Which is, again, very spot on. She's picking up the younger boy from school. He's one of the boys who was tossing rocks on the pavement. Now there's an older boy with him, and he's really sweet. And it seems like he's got a little bit of a developmental shortage.
Yeah, developmental disability of some kind.
Yeah, but he's watching, sitting with the kid until mom picks him up.
Yeah, I mean, he seems mature and responsible. Oh,
yeah. So he's once the little boy's picked up, he's like, job's done, off he goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's evening, and at home the man is going over a bunch of pharmaceutical stuff for livestock. So this big book out and stuff, notes, notebooks. Kids are doing their things. Woman's in the chair across from her husband folding laundry. There's a bit of a family conversation kind of stuff. And just the older boy with the black eye is in a pissy mood. And that just kind of sets the tone. You get, this is a older teen.
Yeah.
He's lives on a farm. And universally there's that phase.
Yeah.
Where
he's not into that life.
Right. Cause I think, I think it was later. It comes later. Well, I won't bring it up.
Well, in this conversation, they do bring up, like, did you get your application in? They're talking to him about going to college, and he kind of just brushes it off.
Oh yeah. There was something bigger that comes up. The next time we see something like this, but yeah, it's like, did you get your application into tech school? So it's not even college; it's tech school,
right?
Right. Which again,
ag.
Yeah, it's for agriculture, and anyway, get into a bunch of stuff. So anyway, yeah, it establishes his pissy mood because he's just like, and then gets up and heads out.
Yeah. So it's the next day, probably. The woman's taking care of the bees again. And we learn her name is Betty.
Yes.
We learn this because a guy in like a very nice new white pickup truck pulls up.
Yeah.
And we learn that her husband's name is Frank. So he's talking to her. He mentions their accounts. He's like talking about how he knows they're in trouble financially. And he works for this company called Guy Gas. And he is telling her he's been trying to talk to Frank about setting up a warehouse on their farm. He thinks that the company can help them, da-da-da-da-da. And she's sort of very like, no, we're fine, but thanks.
Yeah.
I'll let him know you stopped. So, and the guy is a very like smarmy, he's kind of a dick.
Again, very spot on to reality.
Yeah. So then we see Betty working at like kind of one of those roadside produce stands at the edge of a farm field.
Yeah. I called it a corner farmer's market. I don't know why.
But it seems like a couple of people around like, man this produce stand now and then just to, make a little money from their extra garden stuff, basically. This isn't a big operation.
Right. And we have several around here.
Yeah.
Just 10 minutes out. I mean, we're at the very edge of the city, but if you go 10 minutes outside of the city in any direction, there will be,
You'll hit one of these.
yeah, produce or
Yeah.
mixed stuff and everything. Cause, why the hell not?
Apples, eggs,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
They're actually really great places to go to get fresh produce.
They're fucking awesome. Short of
Yeah.
a farmer's market. I mean, this is the best way to do it.
Yeah. So where was I? There, then we see nearby the younger boy, Sam,
Mhm.
her younger son, he's biking with a girl. And she is the daughter of one of the other produce stand people.
Right.
And they're near the river. They're throwing rocks into it, kid stuff. Sam makes the comment as the girl is talking about going swimming. And Sam's like, no, we don't go in the river. That's a rule.
Right.
And Sam follows the rules.
Yes.
And then we see Betty and Frank. They're just sort of like playing around on the hay bales.
Yeah.
Just sweet couple stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of these little shots like establishing their little life, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like for them, I wrote, they seem very much in love.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just more life out of the big city.
Right.
This is what it's like.
Yeah. She does mention to him about the guy who came in the truck, and he brushes it off like he's unconcerned. He's like, they're always going to try that. Nah.
Yeah, call him a monster.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
And like I was writing pretty detailed up to this point, like every single tiny little scene that I saw. And I'm like, I'm going to start writing a lot less about every single shot because there are lots of them, right? And they go quickly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of little bits of information and little shots, but it is all adding up to a bigger picture, right?
Yes.
So we see Frank coming home from he's out, doing whatever it is he does.
I note this much later, but if you look at their old pickup, it's I don't have their last name until it's later. So-and-so Farm Supplies.
Right.
So they
do like feed and antibiotics.
Yeah, they have a business, and he's really trying to keep things going. But you get the sense that because all the lettering is faded.
Right.
And we do see it in the background on the barn, and then we see it several times after. But it's like, your business isn't doing super great when you can't be bothered to repaint the sign on your barn kind of thing.
Right.
So it was kind of a little like, take a look.
Yeah. So he gets in as he sees, as Betty is like reviewing the paperwork in their office, which is in their barn, right?
Oh, yeah. There's a whole desk and file cabinet area set up.
And she has been going over these because she doesn't do the finances and she wants to know what's going on.
Right.
Right. And she has learned that he's been hiding the extent of their financial troubles. Right. And she's kind of upset about it, but he's like, I've got it figured out. I'm about to get, new orders and whatever. It seems like business has been kind of drying up since this new company came in.
Right.
And as Betty is going around town, the logo for that company, Guy Gas, is fucking everywhere.
I think it's Gigas.
Gygas.
Gygas or Gigas?
They say Guy Gas.
Did they say Guy Gas?
Yeah.
I thought they said Gigas.
Either way.
Sure.
It doesn't matter.
The bad company.
Right. It's everywhere. It's in the local department store. It's on signs all over the place. There are vehicles with it on them. It's posted in every farm.
Yeah.
The older son, Finn, works at the department store, which is kind of like a combo farm and fleet grocery store, department store deal. And he is he's messing around. He's wearing a bra, and she immediately, this is another very rural kind of thing. She's like, stop before someone sees you. And he's like, I'm just messing around.
So that's no for transgender vampire for Halloween.
Right. More about him being unsatisfied with country life.
Right.
And Sam, the little one, is very focused on what to be for Halloween. Like he's pretty sure he wants to be a pirate.
Oh yeah.
But he's working very hard to get mom to get Betty to collaborate with him on this.
Yes.
It's very important to him. And we see then Frank getting tests done at the doctor's office. And that's kind of all we have with that for now. But when he gets home, he is stalling in his truck for a while before going in.
Yeah.
He just kind of is sitting there. And they have a guest over, Paula, who I guess works at the hardware store. And Finn has a big crush on her. She seems just like a family friend.
Yeah.
Betty.
Yeah. I wrote that. Yeah. He's a little Twitter pated over her.
Yeah. So later that evening, while Betty sees Frank talking to Paula inside, and she's like going out, just kind of walking around, kind of checking on things, buttoning things up. She sees him kind of distracted with Paula. She goes in the barn to snoop through the paperwork again. And she is upset by what she finds.
Right. Well, just before that, though, when this is all going on, we see her son up on the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Just
smoking a bong.
Yeah, outside of his bedroom window on the roof. Yeah, just not a care in the world. Smoking a bong as leisurely as can be.
Yeah.
And, I just thought, yep.
Yeah.
When they get up and she's getting dressed, as he's waking up, she's like, I'll go with you.
Right.
Let me lend a hand. And he just says, no, I don't want you around all that. I guess in the whole livestock antibiotic thing, I didn't know what he was getting at this moment.
Sure.
Right. Because it just seemed kind of.
Well, I was kind of connecting it with his doctor's appointment, like whatever he's been out with, farms use a lot of chemicals, right? For various stuff, pesticides,
Right.
Whatever he's been around with, and he was wearing that protective gear earlier. He doesn't want her around it.
Well, and that made sense, but it was just kind of, I don't know. It just wasn't specific enough.
Sure.
Right. Because farm supplies, I wasn't really quite sure where we were going in this. And if somebody wants to help with the business, but anyway, so I just thought, oh, that's a little bit of a shift. And, then she busts him. She tells him she's seen the papers. There's grim looks on both sides. And then the older boy is outside of the store that he works place. And Paula is there in the parking lot. And he comes up to her. She lets him take her car. And he ends up loading a bunch of his artwork.
Right.
Right. Big portfolio thing of all of his stuff, and drives off. She yells after him, good luck. And then there's just a lot of shots of him driving into the big city. Right. Not just a little burg, but big skyscrapers. Later, Betty and Frank are pulling up to a barn, and it's the monster. The evil corporation is there. Signs everywhere.
Well, they're there. It's not their farm. It's the pig farmer guy.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's the signs are everywhere. So there, oh no, it's not the pig farmer guy. This is the other guy, chicken guy.
Okay.
With the chickens.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's in this large building full of chickens, talking to him about setting up regular shipments. And he goes on and he kind of just lays it all out. Why we see all this shit everywhere is he's set up with Guy Gas, and even though it costs more, he's staying with them because they do more. Honestly.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but it was a car alarm.
Anyway. It basically is coming down to when you sign up with these giant corporations for your farm needs, there's actually a lot of do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
And they're serious about the don'ts. There's things you can't do, right? So even though it costs more, he kind of like gets more, is what he's hinting at. Like
Right.
they do all this and they drop it at my door.
Right.
Right.
And if they find out that he's buying supply from someone else, they're going to stop their.
They'll null the contract and then be screwed, or they'll do something else. But anyway, so that's a poor conversation. So the farmer's name is Scratch.
Yeah.
And he tells Betty, look, it's like everybody knows they're going broke.
Right.
Because how can you not? Right. It's, it could be 150,000 acres of land. Everybody's working in different areas, but there's only like 8 of you.
Yeah.
Where it's going to get around. So he says, tell Frank I've got a job for him if he's interested. And then later they're picking up Sam from school. Frank says it's not a job that's on the up and up.
Yeah, apparently it's an unsavory kind of job.
Yeah, a little mystery there. Sam is with the girl, the daughter of the other farm market guy. They're playing by the river again. And clearly this is another crush situation going on.
Oh, yeah.
They're, just kind of like playing the touch the face thing, touch the forehead, touch the cheek, touch the cheek. That's all it is. But we all know what it is. We know what's happening. Frank is with another farmer. This farmer is also buying from Gygas. And Frank actually starts pleading with him.
Yeah.
Saying
this was the one he's been counting on and telling Betty, I'm going to get this one.
Yeah. And he's like, I need this sale. Farmer is just like, it's just the way it is, man. And he puts it out there to him. If I go with you, they're going to break my contract.
Yeah.
I can't afford that. Because while Frank and Betty have things to offer, there's really nobody out there offering all these things that these big corporations do. And that's how they come in and basically just like take over the family farm because they just hamstring you. So that's kind of a bummer. Later, Frank gets home and he shows Betty a check for $500. It's a down payment for one of their systems.
Right. From the guy that we just saw tell him no.
Yes. So Betty is, of course, thrilled.
Yeah.
Oh, God, haven't we all been there?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, these numbers aren't going up as fast as I'd like them. Bam. Ooh, that feels good. Later at night, older boy is here it is, the one I was talking about. He's on the floor of the living room drawing. And this is really like also super close to reality, if not pinpoint. So Frank compliments him on his drawing.
Right.
And this kid is good.
He is good.
Right. But then immediately follows it up with, it's not real.
It's not going to pay your bills.
Yeah. So then the real argument begins. Frank yelling that he needs his son to go fill out a tech school application. Finley storms off. Betty goes after him. And it's that old chestnut.
Right.
Right. Frank expects, and that's the whole like basis of this whole setup. Frank expects his son to go to school, learn the tech shit, to come back and take over the family business as he did from his father, so on and so forth. Right. You only have to go back a few generations where that it wasn't like that. You didn't go to any kind of school.
Right.
You learned by doing.
But Finn's also not a fool. And Finn sees that the end of this family business.
Yeah, they're
he's
driving.
Like, what will there be for me to?
Yeah, it's like they got a car that's in first gear and it's just gently coasting towards the end of the dead end street. He sees that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also, today it's become so competitive, so hard, not from a competitive standpoint, but just from the fact that, we've been raping the soil for millennia and not taking care of it properly, that it's getting harder and harder. And we can get into we've gone into many things many times about how it sucks to be a farmer in America. So we won't do that again. We all know. We've been there. So as Betty goes after Finn to talk about what's going on in their little conversation, because he's resistant, he's a teen, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then she just kind of like breaks the water. She's like, well, why don't you teach me how to use your pipe? And then there's this like really weird stare down between the two of them. And she's like, well, I figured we'd just quit pretending and, let's talk about what's real.
Right.
So his next response is, it's a bong, not a pipe.
Yeah. Jeez, Mom.
And next thing, they're out on the roof smoking weed together. And I got to say, I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Now,
he is actually teaching her to use it too, which is very cute.
It's funny. And we've had discussions,
oh, yeah.
What's it going to happen? And we've talked about how like it's American culture, macho men. It's like when their kids such and such an age, here's your first beer. I mean, for me, my grandfather started dishing me whiskey when I was 4, for fuck's sake, right? That's why I don't drink anymore. I was good. I was done before everyone else started. But it's a rite of passage thing. And a lot of people look at that with no big deal. Now, okay, marijuana is legal in several places. Not when this was made.
Right.
Right. But, there's a lot of things. I'm just going to say I found this even better because it wasn't a rite of passage thing. It was, you're nearly a man, by age legally. And, I know what you've been doing.
Yeah.
And not going to get into the whole thing. Just like, let's just quit fucking pretending. Let's go out and.
Well, I mean, and it was also kind of showing him that he can trust her.
That she gets it.
Right.
That's exactly it. She knew what he was doing. He realizes that. He was found out a long time ago, and it was, I think, in the whole situation, the perfect way to cement, I'm on your side.
Right.
Right. Love your father. And God, if this isn't the story of the farm family, right?
Right.
I love your father, but I'm
behind you.
Right. Without having the whole speech. Right. So I thought it was particularly wonderful. So while they're doing that, that's when he reveals that he applied to an art institute in New York.
Yeah.
And this is what cemented that whole thing that we, both thinking. She looks at him and says, you only have to do one thing. Make yourself happy. And I just put that is rock star parenting.
Yeah.
Right there. And that was kind of that was the tide changer. No doubt. Mom's got my back.
Yeah.
Right. And that's rough. It's rough for a young man to face off against his father, particularly in these situations.
Right.
Right.
But knowing that you've got someone in your corner.
Well, yeah. And I mean, that's why I said the whole thing about this, most people don't understand how this all works. Right. People in the city or in the suburbs or anywhere that's even moderately industrialized and doesn't rely on farming and farm retail of some sort, right, to survive, doesn't get, because they're, we're working from home, but most people are getting up and going to work.
Right.
Right. So they're not there during the day. And then the kids have stuff. All right. The urban lifestyle is really fucked up because we spend way less time together as a family in an urban setting than in a rural setting. Now, while we're sitting here, we've been working from home for a number of years. It's been us. It's been the girl. I mean, we've been in it. But as most people during COVID are like, oh, I'm home all day with my kids and my husband. We're all here. Every one of these fucking people who grew up and lived on a farm and lives there still is like, and? Right? Bitch, we're 300 years into this routine. What the fuck is your problem? So with that closeness comes these things that aren't traditional, that aren't healthy. right? The
Right.
unhealthy bonds between parent and child, namely in rural settings, father and son,
Right.
right? And if there's no son, then it's the oldest one. So we'll
Yeah.
just say that this is what you're going to be doing. And for generations, that's how it was. But now, arguably, nobody wants to be a fucking farmer, and we all understand why. And that's why we thank them profusely,
Yeah.
and we announce it here. Fucking thank you, because Jesus Christ.
It's practically impossible to be a farmer and just that.
Right. A lot of people have family farms, but they work during the day.
Yeah.
And then they farm until midnight and, try to catch some sleep and get up before the day job to get some prep shit done. And then, everyone's off doing the, anyway. So anyway, I thought that was fantastic.
So fall is really hitting now. And I like that throughout the movie, they have these like very clear indications of the passage of time. And it's based on the landscape.
Right. And the crops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yes.
And it means they took the time over a full year, at least.
Yeah. This is not something you can fake in India.
No.
Okay. Tear down your whole field and we're going to plant dead crops that we saved from last year.
Yeah. That's smart scheduling.
Yeah.
So, Betty finds Frank talking to a guy in a suit on their porch. And he's from the bank. Someone made an offer on their farm. Guess who?
Yeah.
And they need the back payments on the house in order to keep the house.
Right. All of them.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a significant amount. So the guy leaves. Betty is like freaking out. And as she is freaking out about this, Frank collapses on the porch. So next we see Betty loading sacks into the truck now, like pretty aggressively.
That is exactly what I put. She's really aggressive with these bags.
Yeah. And Frank is in bed, not looking well. So she's taking over the like work portion of what they're doing. And she is looking in on him. And he mentions that Scratch needed something. And he says that he'll go tomorrow. And Betty's like, you get some rest.
Right.
So she goes to Scratch's place. And he has cows that are infected.
Right.
Yeah. So she's talking to him about what she can do, the antibiotics she can bring in. She's saying, but you're going to need to like dispose of all this milk because the milk is infected.
Yeah, not just that milk, but
Right.
she's talking about how long the antibiotics stay in the body,
Right.
and how many more. I don't know the term for it. How many more cycles of milk? How many more? Yeah, how many more times he's going to milk these cows? He's going to have to chuck it because they'll still have all the shit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's telling her essentially he can't go against Guy Gas, so he can't get these antibiotics from her. He has to do what they say. And they're like, nope, just give us the milk. You have the shipment ready? We're ready to go. And she's like, you can't sell this milk. Are you serious? So he offers her, instead of helping the cows, to dispose of some chemicals.
Right.
And she's not about it. And he's like, well, it's pretty much the same thing that you guys used to give to me. It's just, past its expiration date.
Yeah. I thought he said it was your stuff.
He said it's basically your stuff.
Okay, basically your stuff.
Right.
Yeah. But it's just old.
Right.
Old.
And disposing of them properly is expensive. But he'll pay them a good amount of money to dispose of it discreetly and under the table, basically.
Yep.
And she's not pleased about it, but it also doesn't seem like there's a lot of choice, right?
Right. This is a point in any movie where sitting in the audience, based on your morals,
right?
You want to make the decision for the character right away. Don't do it. It's wrong.
Right.
you know. And I just put, morals aside, when you need money, you need money.
Yeah.
And, life isn't a movie.
No, it isn't.
The billionaire doesn't sweep in and save you. The community doesn't come together and bail you out. It's a terrible fucking thing. And the reality is you can't pull a Captain America in this.
I mean,
right?
everyone who's struggled, like even a little bit, has considered or had, thought about compromising their morals.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the thing is, we've talked about, I'd kill a church full of people if I had to save you and Lily.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't feel bad about it because my morals are you guys come first.
Yeah.
And that's what her morals are. My family.
Yeah.
You can see her thinking, my family. We got a kid who wants to go to art school. You got a husband who's suddenly not
sick,
doing well. Your business is going down. Guy's going to take your fucking house in a week.
Yeah.
Your farm, not your
a
house,
week.
your
I
farm.
Mean, yeah.
Right. And then you got your little kid who's just totally oblivious to everything. And you're just about to take his world and blow it up.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I loved this moment because it wasn't snap in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the way it was written and the dialogue and everything just really kind of laid it out there that this is not a good thing.
Right.
And he even said, I know you guys are hurting for money. It's kind of the recurring theme.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just like, oh, God, what a terrible place to be.
Yeah. I mean, I don't envy her, So she gets home and she's looking for Sam. She can't find him. And we see him. He's alone on the steps of the school where he was with Stevie, the older boy.
Yeah.
Previously. And he seems to be bored with waiting for Mom and gets on his bike and starts riding away.
Yeah.
So we see her out driving. She passes the produce stand. And the dad of the girl Sam was playing with is carrying the girl. She's sick.
Right.
She's got trouble breathing. And Sam's there too.
Yeah, Sam is there. They were playing.
Right.
In the cornfield.
Yep. And she kind of grills Sam. What were you doing? Da 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 da. She's worried because this girl was sick. And obviously she's like, is my kid going to be sick? They're playing in this cornfield. I know what goes on here.
Right.
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 And Sam just kind of refuses to answer, like he's disengaged.
Yeah. As you would expect. I mean, he's like what? Maybe 9?
I would say 6 or 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. He was young.
Yeah. A little fella.
Yeah.
So we see Frank at the doctor's again. Something is wrong.
Yes.
The doctor's explaining treatments and like out-of-pocket costs, and it's not looking good.
Right. And I just noted that the doctor is doing, they did this in a very generic way.
Yes.
Right. We can assume it's cancer.
Right.
There's other things that can go on that are just as bad. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they didn't pick any one thing.
Right.
It was just they avoided any kind of hint. And I thought that was kind of brilliant, actually.
Right.
Right. Because now this is not.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter what it is. Right. We're not going to put the focus on this particular disease because then this becomes a movie about this disease.
Right.
Okay. Frank's got something wrong and it's not good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So at home, he's downplaying it to Betty, but she's not fooled. And she's telling him she can't do this alone. Right?
Yeah.
Because he's like, no, it's fine. I'll be fine. And she's like, we need to get you treatment because you can't leave me.
Right. Yeah.
To do all this by myself.
Yeah. I mean, that's just not the option when confronted with that kind of health situation. I don't know that anyone in history has told their spouse, oh, well, that's a bummer, but it's okay if you kick. I'll be all right.
Right. Well, we can't afford it, so sorry.
I'll back that up. I'm sure that's happened to truly horrible human beings.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, you get it.
And while she's talking to him, Finn comes storming through the kitchen and he's bleeding. Like his face is bleeding.
He's got a bloody lip.
Yeah.
Yeah. At first I thought I wrote he had a bloody nose just because the way he
Right.
walked in, but then I had to fix it because I saw it.
And he tells Betty that he got into the art school, right? He was accepted.
Yeah.
But that he doesn't think he can do it because they can't afford it. He's like, I don't know why I bothered.
Yeah, he's not going.
Right.
He's like, why? Because we couldn't afford it. Even if I got a scholarship, there's expenses we could never cover.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually felt like I was kicked in the balls. Because, when you watch a movie, you try to, be the characters to feel what they're, I mean, that's the whole experience of this, all this craziness. And there was so much truth behind that just, from a young man's perspective, or, if I was a woman, if I was a woman, I'd say a young woman's perspective, but, from when I was a young man, what that would have felt like, that realization. And then as a parent, having my kid tell me something like that, fucking hell.
Yeah.
What it's just the worst.
Yeah. So, it's night. Betty's knocking on the door of the farmer who Frank told her deposited.
The chicken farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a system. And learns that it wasn't a deposit. It was a loan.
Yeah. She's like, we need the rest of the money up front and this and that. Da, da, da. And he's like, I don't think you understand. Frank asked me for a loan. I can't keep loaning you guys money.
Right.
And the look on her face.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So the next day we see her getting the truck loaded up with barrels, and Scratch is handing her an envelope of cash. And she's like, where's the rest of it? And he tells her it's only half until you bring back the empty barrels.
Yeah, you got to bring the barrels back.
Yeah.
They can't be out there. Got to bring the barrels back. Then you get the rest.
Right.
So she's got her envelope full of money. And I loved this. I think this was one of the highlights of the movie. So what does she do? She's got a bunch of deadly chemicals in the back seat. She's doing something illegal, clearly against everything she's ever stood for. You can just see it in her face. But what does she do? She stops at that fucking store and she buys Sam a pirate costume.
She's run out of time to make one.
Yeah, because they did show at one point her sitting sewing.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the when the big argument happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, time is up because Halloween is just coming. Also, Taking the House is just coming at the same time around the corner, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, she just goes in and she comes out with that fucking pirate outfit. And I thought, yeah, goddamn right. That is exactly what any parent would do.
Yeah.
You know what? This money's supposed to go for this, that. Fuck that. My kid's not going to
not have a costume.
I have money in hand. I'm going to buy this costume and I'll figure out the rest.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Oh.
Also cigarettes.
Oh, and cigarettes. Yeah. I don't think we saw her smoking up to this point.
No.
Right.
And I don't think she's a regular smoker.
No. But either way, she's got a fresh pack of cigarettes. She pops those bad boys open in the truck.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yep.
That's right, Mama. Mama Bear, you do for you.
Yeah.
And then this is where, as we get this like high of, we're on Betty's side. Fucking do it. Stop at fast food place if you had one and just gorge on a bunch of shit. We get it. But anyway, she parks the truck at home, covers the barrels, and she tells Frank they should do the thing for Scratch. Frank brushes it off. So she hasn't told him she's accepted.
Right.
She's trying to get him on board.
She did. Right.
Which is more than Frank has done for her.
Yeah.
Now, you can use the excuse of you don't want to share the misery with your family and stuff, but
he's lied.
He's outright lied. And we've talked about that whole thing of you don't tell the captain of the ship about any problem until you have to tell the captain of the ship about that problem.
Right.
It's not a problem until it's a problem. Right? We got a leak. Fix the fucking thing. Captain doesn't need to know. He's got enough shit going on. And I understand that as a traditional, husband, the traditional head of household kind of thing, doing all the stuff, old fashioned style. A lot of times things weren't shared. but that's not acceptable. It's not excusable.
No.
Marriage is a partnership. We've talked about it, So this is what's going on.
Their boat is sinking.
Right. Yep. The captain needs to know. The captain needed to know as soon as the money stopped coming in.
Yeah.
If he were really straightforward, he would have sat down and said, we're like down like 40%. It's not looking good. Instead of clutching to it, what can we do? Right.
Yeah.
Something else. But anyway, none of that ever happened. She brings up the tests. We got to have the money for this. We got to get you set. She pushes the scratch job more and more. And Frank says it isn't what they do.
Right.
And then, okay, I'll finish this. So he tries to make it better by saying, here it comes. Yep. You know it. He tells her, we have everything we need. People lose their homes. Kids don't go to college and they survive. And I wrote, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
So this is where I'm no longer at all on Frank's side for anything. Not that I was like rooting for him, but that settled it. Frank is one of those people who, this is what makes it very clear. He lives in a constant state of denial.
Yeah.
Not taking ownership of the reality.
Mm-hmm.
We're going down fast.
Yeah.
And he just keeps seeming to think that I'll make that sale. I'll make that sale. How many sad salesman movies have there been?
Right.
Right. But what happens in the end? They make the sale or someone swoops in and helps them. So later, Betty is off trying to dump the barrels on her own with little success.
Yeah. She's struggling.
These are 50-gallon drums full of,
Huge.
I would have an enormously difficult time. And just they're unwieldy. This isn't something that's, it's not so simple as tipping. Got to move, got to hold them, these things. Anyway. Then we see Frank with Paula. And I wrote, is something going on here with him and Paula? There was like no allusion to this whatsoever.
Right.
It just seemed a really weird thing going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so that happened. Let's move on.
He's talking to her about feeling guilty.
Right. And I get like Paula is like the family friend.
Right.
But this did not seem right.
Right.
And maybe it's just from my perception and perspective of seeing something like this, but it just seemed very clandestine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to talk to a friend, you talk to the friend. If he needs to talk to her and doesn't want Betty to know, well, shit, she's out.
Right.
Well, why'd you be in a truck somewhere? Anyway, just felt really hinky to me. Betty drives by the farm stand. It's empty. She goes to the squirrel girl's father's. I wish we could have caught her name.
The sick girl.
Yeah.
It started with an E.
Oh, we do get it in the very end. Elena.
Yeah.
So, goes to their house. The girl is feeling better, but the father doesn't know what was wrong because they can't afford all the stuff. He doesn't have the money.
Yeah, they can't afford to go to the doctor.
Right. She tells him she needs his help and she can pay him enough to help his daughter. So doing that whole thing that people have been using on her.
Mm-hmm.
Takes her to the truck and he just, nope.
Right.
Nope. She gives him some money and then tells him to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Cause fine. I get it. She wasn't pissed at him.
No, she wasn't.
She didn't beg him or anything. She's like, Elena needs this.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to love this character.
Yeah.
Right. That money's going to pay off all their shit. But
there's a little girl who's sick.
There's a little girl who's sick. There's a little boy who deserves a fucking cheap pirate costume. There's, and she deserves a pack of cigarettes. So I think that part there helps with the struggle, identify the struggle of this character.
Yeah.
And she's doing this heinous shit. She's trying to bring good people into it because she needs help because she wants to finish it and get it done with. But at the same time, she's not like,
Right.
she's becoming evil corporate goon kind of thing. So then she's in Finley's room, waking him up, saying that she needs his help. Later, they're dumping barrels. And he asks, why aren't they being put in the barn? She says, your father, and then ...
Right.
And that's it. Conversation's over. He asks what's in the barrels.
Yeah. He also asks, is this about me? Like, is this about me going to school?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sharp kid.
Yeah. He understands that this is something not right.
Right.
But she doesn't answer. She doesn't tell him what's in the barrels.
Nope.
So Frank then later is laying out his master plan to her to get them out of their financial straits.
Can I back up?
Okay.
They were unloading the barrels.
Right.
They're not emptying them at this time.
Right.
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah. Near the river.
Yeah. Yeah. My bad choice of words.
That's okay. I initially thought they were draining them too, but it seemed they were just placing them.
Yeah. And it's hard realizing that and then going back to correct that, because then you miss a whole bunch of other shit going on.
Yeah.
So listeners, we did manage to correct it for you. No confusion. Now.
Yeah. So Frank's master plan to get them out of their financial straits is to go to the bank and tell them that he's sick and they need more time. And he believes this will work.
Yeah.
So then we are at the produce stand and Betty is there and Finn is there and Sam is there. And Finn is worried about the barrels. Like he's asking her more about them.
Yeah.
And she is lying to him about them, basically.
Yeah.
And Sam comes up. He's worried about his Halloween costume because,
it's coming.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Halloween's almost here.
Yeah. So, and she looks over and she sees the little girl, Elena, biking basically right underneath the plane that's crop dusting the corn.
Yes. And it was at this point I realized this was one of those little things that I didn't mention, and apparently you didn't either. One of those little details because we're trying to catch the scenes. I put here that this crop dusting plane has been prevalent throughout this entire film, primarily with the kids playing in the corn and the trees next to the river, next to the corn.
Mm-hmm.
But this little girl several times
biking right next to it,
right under the crop dust.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she just kind of looks over and it's, she doesn't have a great look on her face.
No.
So then it's Halloween and Betty gives Sam the store-bought pirate costume after a whole bunch of him moping that he didn't have a costume. Right. So she gives him the store-bought pirate costume and he's pissed.
Yeah.
He's absolutely livid. And she doesn't understand. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what he says, and this broke my heart.
I know. Me too.
He wanted to make it with her.
I said, I wanted to make it with you.
Yeah.
No good deed goes unpunished as a parent.
I know.
That was kind of the thing. I'm like, oh, I've been there. We've both been there.
Yeah.
And your heart breaks for your kid.
Yeah.
Our heart broke for Sam. We get it.
Yeah.
From both sides.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everyone has moments as a parent where they're like, I fucked up. Right?
Yeah.
Big or little, when you fuck up as a parent, it hurts.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'll go back to the Lily's birthday party, the zombie birthday party.
Yeah.
When we had that problem where the stem popped out of the tire.
Oh, God.
And it just went boom at the gas station. I was filling it up, pulled the air hose off, and the entire stem thing just flew out.
Yeah.
Right over my shoulder, and it just instantly no air. Luckily, we were 50 feet from the garage because the gas station was right on the corner. But it took forever because the spare had been under there for so long and never touched. Nothing was working.
Right.
I could not get that thing to move. And Lily was having a panic attack.
Yeah.
She was crying, all this. And I, all I could do is say, I promise you, you will have your party.
Yeah.
We may be like an hour late setting up, but we're going to be there 3 hours early anyway.
Yeah.
I've never let you down.
Yeah.
Believe in it. But she was a little kid.
Right.
They can't hold on to that, and that made me even madder at the situation.
Yeah.
I'm like, my daughter's heart's broken. Someone's going to die for this, So yeah, I think anyone who watches this who's had a kid, it's such a simple little thing, but it's like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So Sam isn't going to go to the Halloween carnival.
Right.
He's refusing. At the carnival, Finn is the only one who made it there.
Yep.
And it was supposed to be the whole family. So he's walking through. He's smoking a joint as he's walking through.
Yeah. Like, go Finn.
Yeah. And it's a bunch of like cut shots. At home, Sam is packing to run away.
Yeah.
He sneaks out and starts running down the road. Betty is trying to take care of the barrels herself down by the river because after Finn questioned her, she didn't want to bring him in again.
Right.
So she's trying to get them like lids off so they can, empty out.
Yeah.
They're big and she's struggling. And then back at the carnival, Finn is like just blazed. Stevie, the boy who occasionally hangs out with Sam, is asking him where Sam is. And Finn just kind of ignores him.
Right. Well, real quick about Stevie. We see Stevie several more times. Stevie, when he's available at the school, stays with Sam. Yeah. But Stevie, we also find out, works with Finn at the store.
Right.
And then he also works somewhere else. I think like the gas station Quick Mart or something. I don't know, something. But like Stevie's everywhere.
Yeah.
And they even make a comment on that.
So, and he had previously told Sam he would meet him at the carnival. So he's asking Finn, where's Sam? I want to hang out with Sam. And Finn doesn't really answer him. So Stevie like goes off into the woods to find Sam.
Yes.
This bit.
Can you do it?
I can do it.
Okay.
I'll get through it. So next we see Elena's dad in the forest looking for her.
Mm-hmm.
And Sam is on the riverside throwing rocks into the water. And the girl is with him. And she's giving him shit for not going swimming. This rule that he had, right?
Right.
And he's been warned off this before.
Yeah. Don't
go in the water. And apparently this, Elena's goading is enough to get him in. As we see Betty working on the lids to the barrels.
Yeah.
So, Stevie's also in the woods looking for Sam. And he also goes into the water trying to catch up to Sam. And I wrote, God, this is so sad.
It is. Well, he finds them.
Yeah.
And they run off.
Right.
And then that's when he hits the water. But I wrote, by the time he hits the water, she's dumped over 300 gallons so far.
Yeah. She's been dumping and dumping.
Yeah. And this is all downstream from where she's dumping.
Right.
They made it very clear when they shot it, it directionally flowed.
Right.
With the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the tension in this moment is like ratcheted up so high. Like we have Betty, the kids in the water, and Betty gagging as she's taking off the lids of the barrels.
Yeah.
And we remember that Scratch told her you might want to wear protective equipment.
Yeah. And she's not. She's just,
no.
She did have gloves on.
She did initially.
Like neoprene gloves.
Right.
Yeah. That's not protective gear.
Right. And then when Betty gets home, she sees Elena in a truck outside the house. And Elena doesn't say, Elena just looks at her, and Elena doesn't look happy.
Right.
Right. So she goes inside and she learns that Sam was in the water and she's freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And, oh, go ahead.
well, go ahead.
No.
Well, because you might say what I'm going to say.
Well, the Elena's dad is there and he's telling her, thank God it wasn't Elena in the water, like pointedly, right?
Well, yeah. And I think that had to do with her breathing issues and stuff. Because Sam was okay. Elena's dad found them.
Yeah.
And brought them home or brought Sam home.
Right.
Right. But yeah, Sam's not.
Sam's fine.
Yeah. It hadn't got there yet.
Sam's fine. Well, Elena's dad is telling her very pointedly, you better thank God Elena wasn't in the water because he knew.
He knew what, she was going to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Betty calls the sheriff to tell them that there's something in the creek near them.
Well, yeah, she calls the sheriff and just says, you need to tell him he needs to come out to so-and-so, the river at so-and-so, so-and-so.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, fuck, she's going to come clean.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
And then she starts freaking out, wondering where Finn is. And as they're driving to go find Finn, they come across an ambulance by the river. And she, jumps out. She's practically inconsolable.
She's actually shouting Finn.
Yeah.
Finn,
running up to it.
Finn, is that Finn?
But it's Stevie.
Yeah.
And he's covered in chemical burns.
He is fucked up.
Yeah. And then we see it's the first frost.
Well, I put the sheriff comes up to her and says, it's a good thing you called.
Yeah.
So he thinks her call was about Steven.
Yeah.
Not turning herself in.
Not the barrels.
Yeah. And
which they didn't find.
No.
So then, we see that it's the first frost and she's returning the barrels to scratch. And there's an envelope of money on the dash of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the look on her face in this final shot of the movie.
Is that what you closed with?
Yeah.
Because I wrote, I closed with these last three words. She looks defeated.
Yeah.
Like spiritually, physically, emotionally defeated.
Yeah. So.
I love that we both closed on that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, Joanne Kelly is the lead as Betty in this movie.
Right?
Oh my God. She's amazing.
Oh, she, an expert at her craft. I'll just say that.
She is so good.
She brought emotion with tone, not, take the words out of it. Her tone, expressions, body movement, everything. And in the non-speaking bits, like this last bit, I mean, she has been busted. Every bit of her that makes her a human being has just been fucking shattered. And you can see in her face, she's going to live with it for the rest of her life.
Yeah. With
no small measure of improvement on the level of pain that this is going to cause her, till the day she dies.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is spectacular in this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. I mean, we can talk about it more, but
Well, and we will a little bit. I mean, everybody did a really great job. I really want to point out, the kids. Like Elena didn't really have a lot to do and neither did Sam. Right. Finley had some, not a lot to do, but what he did have to do was pretty emotional and, straightforward. I hate to say this.
Okay.
But in indie films, most of the time, kids are just the worst. Okay.
It's tough.
I mean,
and a lot of people don't like to film kids for that reason.
Well, I mean, we've talked to a few people who have had auditions for, kids who want to be actors and have had something going. But usually, like in indie film, we've talked about with a number of folks, that you just bring in whoever the fuck is there.
Yeah.
Right? We did it. We put out a call, friends and family, come sit in the fucking restaurant in the background. Right? We got some stranger to be my wife. And I was the angry man, even though I wasn't supposed to be in this fucking film. Because we're like, oh, we just can't ask for one more. We've like tapped it out. Our cameraman was the bartender.
Right.
It shit happens. And I mean, nobody likes to talk poorly about kids, but let's be honest. We've seen a lot of movies where the kids are just terrible because they have no acting.
Right.
They probably don't want to do this, or they want to do it because they were convinced it's cool, but you can always see the uncomfortable level of their face, and kids who are like looking right at the camera instead of 90 degrees the other direction to the other actor, and they're always like smiling and trying not to laugh because, they think it's just like so stupid and funny and stuff.
Or kids who are overcoached and over serious.
Oh man, but then you compare to like They Reach.
Right.
And we have Mary Madeline, right? Who kicked that movie's ass because it was a movie about kids.
Yeah.
Right. Silas auditioned kids. And because it was a movie about kids,
right?
The 3 starring roles. In this, I loved Finley. He brought it. It was real. It was genuine. Felt very organic.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elena and Sam are very young, so I wouldn't expect a lot of benefit of talent and experience.
But they did pretty well.
They did. I think they did fantastic. I mean, there wasn't one moment where I caught the weird facial expression. Their movement in the scenes was fluid and cohesive. Nobody looked lost.
And Stevie,
even less than the rest.
Right.
He brought it too. It was very real. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't like, Of Mice and Men. It's not like, they're going to portray him as this, gentle farm guy, super simple. No, he was just a little slower than his age group. Right. And he really enjoyed, Sam's company, and he brought all that, Everyone did a job to make this genuine, but I just wanted to point out the kids because I just realized that we don't mention a lot because the performances are just real bad.
Right.
And we just don't want to shit on them. These were awesome.
Yeah.
These kids held up to their adult counterparts toe to toe. But Joanne Kelly, I don't know, we could talk about her forever. Kimberly Levin, or is it Levine?
I said Levin.
Levin.
I don't know.
Well, sometimes anyway, so it's what it is. Let's talk about the story before we talk about the people playing it.
Right.
This is a story that needs to be told. That's what we said in the beginning.
Yeah. Because
this is shit that is happening. And I mean, a lot of people are aware now. Okay, but remember, this is 2014. And I think what listeners need to realize is like 2014 was still sort of like the dark ages for a lot of what goes on in the farming community. We are not hand on pulse with the nightmares of, farming America. There's still a long way to go to be fully in touch with the breadth of shit that goes on. Right.
Yeah.
It's not so simple as big corporation comes in pushing out the family farmer. We've touched on, I don't know, dozens of areas: farm equipment, seeds, growing, soil management, all the things that are interrupting those things for the simple farmer and trying to keep up. Corporate farms.
It's intensely complex.
It is.
And they mention it in this movie a couple of times where, this company, Guy Gas, is coming in and essentially turning the farmers in the area into tenant farmers without actually being tenant farmers.
Right. Well, they get those contracts for services, and without those services, you won't compete.
Right. And a lot of farmers get locked into these predatory agreements with companies.
Yeah, it's never for one thing.
Right.
Right? It's a suite of things. And it's like, well, I don't need it, but I'm paying for it. It's like us with Amazon Prime. You know, I really don't care about Prime Video. They're kind of like fucking off into a weird direction, but fuck it. It's part of it. I wouldn't pay for it separate, but here it is. I'll use it.
Right.
Right. That's how they get you.
So, yeah, it is a story that needs to be told. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't really think about. I mean, we get our food from grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll be the first to say I probably don't think as often as I should about where our food comes from. Right.
I mean, that's kind of a thing. Yeah.
But that aside, this is a very thoughtfully made film. And I think that is like my biggest lesson from it is that if you want to talk about thoughtful filmmaking,
mm-hmm.
this is a like grade A example of an incredibly thoughtful film.
Yes.
From the way the production was handled and the way the story was told and the way the characters were written and the way that they made sure to like mark the passing of the seasons even and the recurring imagery of the crop dusting plane and the kids playing underneath it. And it was just like every single shot in this film. And I mentioned earlier, it was a lot. It's a lot of very short little shots.
Yes.
But every single one told us another piece of the story.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
They were all important and they were all thoughtful. I mean, except maybe the one where Frank is talking to what's her name in the truck?
Paula.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I don't know that one was necessary, but like overall.
Right. Because we actually didn't get the whole gist of what his beef was. Right? Because we didn't have a conversation with a resolution or a suggestion or anything.
I get the sense that was part of another thing that was in the story.
So I will say if there's a a bad thing about this film, it was leaving that scene in.
Right.
Because like I said, so that happened. And then we move on to a bunch of other shit that has nothing to do with that. It doesn't come back to it. There's no resolution to it. It's almost like it was on the cut list, but then the postie got dropped.
Right.
Right. Everything else was going so good. It's just wrapped and in the can and ready to go. And then, oh, motherfuck. Oh, well, it's there. What can you do?
Well, yeah.
I just sent it to the distributor.
How I felt about that.
Yeah. That was kind of pointless, but I do get the sense that if it wasn't an affair thing, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, are they at this late in the movie? Are they going to introduce another level of fucking conflict? Oh my God. No, it's just this fucking 90-second, maybe 2-minute and then gone.
Right.
You know, like meanwhile in Nebraska, this is happening. You know, you got a guy throwing hatchets at a tree, and then we cut back to the movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, all of that visual tapestry that we were given and was woven for us, all those little things we didn't write about.
Right.
They were all purposeful. We've seen a lot of movies where we've talked about these, like, self-masturbatory, look at all the different ways I can shoot scenery. Does that have anything to do with this movie? No. Why are we watching it? Quit wasting my time, man. Don't waste your time. Don't waste my time. Right. Everything in here, that's what, except for that Frank and Paula scene, everything else was so tight.
Yeah.
And the whole, like I said, I have been actually confused in movies. So like the whole upstream, downstream thing.
Right.
Or traveling north and south in a row. You need to keep a perspective in mind when you're filming that, if it's going to be cohesive.
Right.
Because we have watched, it happened, we were watching Last Kingdom.
Oh, yeah.
The whole road thing. They shot every like cut scene along this road of these two groups that eventually came together from different angles. We were so confused.
I know.
We're like, when that happened, like, what the fuck? I thought they were going here. And where the fuck did they come? You don't know who's coming, who's going. You don't know where you are. There was no spatial congruity.
Right. And I mean, in that case, it really is as simple as showing one group going left to right showing the other
Yes.
room, going right to left.
Yes.
You know, that's not a difficult one to do.
No. They did a really good job with this because the kids are off doing their thing, and then these things have to come together. Yeah. So whether it was Kimberly or the DP, second aid, I don't know, but all of them together managed to keep this very visually congruent,
Yeah.
so that I felt comfortable in the guidance. I knew where I was physically in the movie, as well as I knew where I was in the story. But yeah, we love Last Kingdom, by the way. Just
it's fantastic.
That just really fucked us up because it stuck out. Like, was like everybody in charge sick that day, and they just like brought in some guy from like Temp Hut.
Who knows?
And he's like, okay, let's just get it done. Because it was so out of place. But anyway, I think the story was beautifully presented.
I agree.
It wasn't in your face. Every filmmaker has an agenda. And that's just a fact.
Well, and, by agenda, it's a story that you want to tell.
Well, even if it's a director who didn't write the story. And this is where problems come in. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Now, she wrote and directed this. So she had an agenda, clearly. But it was so passively presented. But it was also very point blank, well, duh. Chemicals are bad and stuff. But she didn't. It was portrayed in such, I guess, like a soft fashion.
Right.
There were no hard corners here. There were no, and I tried, at one point thinking, okay, I'm going to keep watching this, but I'm going to try and change my mindset quick. Maybe I don't know any farmers. I've never worked on a farm. I hadn't grown up with relatives who were farmers, right? I grew up in Wisconsin where every third friend is a farmer or the kid of a farmer, right?
Well, she's telling the story empathetically.
Well, that's what I mean. And so I tried looking at it from that perspective, where if I was in the middle of New York City and I didn't know anything about fucking farming other than it was a word, right? How would this appear to me? And I really did try to like aggressively, mentally punch back at all these story points that she was putting out for like 20 minutes. And I feel comfortable in that this is a very soft deliver. There are no hard corners. There's no like brutal shock. It's not like, chemicals are bad. Where did that come from? It was very gently delivered.
Well, and I think that goes back to thoughtfulness, right? With her empathetic telling of it, because it's easy to vilify farmers for using chemicals. Right?
Oh, it's easy to vilify them for any number of things. Yeah. GMO and chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the hard truth of the matter is many of them, I'm sure that tons of farmers don't like that they have to use chemicals. It isn't a choice. Like they don't go out into their field like, all right, let me spray down everything and, put poison into the earth. And, they do it because they have to. But then you get some like crunchy vegan hipster from an urban area. Like, oh, don't eat fruit that's not organic or whatever.
Yeah. It's watching movies like this. I love, because we're like, this is a talker.
Oh, yeah.
We
talked a lot.
We did. And, the moral thing, I think we addressed that in the beginning when she was mulling it. I think we all agree. I don't know that anyone would disagree.
I don't think that Betty is a villain.
No. Here's the thing. And this is not to like dismiss it. It's going to get done anyway.
I would have done what Betty did.
Exactly. And I would have too. And I don't want chemicals in the rivers. We just watched the thing on 3 Mile Island on Netflix. I wish I remember the name of it.
3 Mile Island.
Is it 3 Mile Island?
Yeah.
I thought it was something else. 3 Mile Island.
No, it's like 3 Mile Island, I think is the actual name of it.
Just search 3 Mile Island. You'll get it. It's a brand new documentary. So I grew up. It was in 79 when it happened. I remember seeing it on the news a couple of times. And then weirdly living in the Midwest, it's like national news doesn't like filter that far inland. It's, they have a satellite for the East Coast. They have a satellite for the West Coast. And it's like watching a ping pong ball go over. Sometimes you catch some shit. Sometimes you don't, but the coasts are always informed.
Right.
Right. But watching this, I learned an awful lot.
Yeah.
And I wasn't there when it happened, but I lived through that period when it was an issue and it was a concern and it was a conversation. But then living here, I didn't get as much. And then all the shit that happened that nobody knew about.
Right.
Right. It's that thing.
Even the residents in that town learned as they were doing the documentary, one of them, because they mentioned that they were 30 minutes away from an actual like meltdown explosion happening.
Yeah.
She, on the documentary on camera, was like, was it 30 minutes?
Yeah. And then she started crying.
Yeah.
Because that realization, that emotional sledgehammer.
She did not know 50 years later, Fucking
wild. I know. And so so we had like Love Canal, which had happened when they found out all these poisonous chemicals were being dumped in the Love Canal. So this is basically what this is like a small version of that, dumping shit in the river behind the scenes. Only these were, giant corporations doing it. Now, you have a farmer who has been strapped into this life-sucking contract with this conglomerate farm corporation, right?
Yeah.
Now he's got to get rid of shit. So clearly, he doesn't have that kind of money to pay for proper disposal, because somewhere in the system we've made it impossible for people to use these chemicals once they buy them. And if there's anything left over, be able to return them or send them back, or if they stop using them. It's that whole thing of, I'm going to, hook you up with all this shit, but then you're on your own. I'm going to make it impossible for you to not have it, to the point where you can't legally get rid of it, safely dispose of it.
Well, the end goal of these predatory contracts, 99% of the time, I will say, like probably safely 100% of the time, is that the company eventually owns the land and the farm and can do with it whatever they want. Who would have thought that in a capitalist system that money would be the most important thing, and people, and the lives they lead wouldn't matter to anyone?
Yeah.
What a fucking shocker.
I know.
Anyway. So
okay, let's talk some more about the movie, because that's why we're here. But I hope, listeners, you understand this. This is what you want. We've said this before because we've talked about the last movie, Take This Waltz. And every time we talk about a movie, the subject in it longer than the movie itself, that's a 5 fucking star rating for the writer, actor, everything, director. And that is what we're all going for. We want to write that story that doesn't win an Oscar or an Emmy. Who fucking cares? It's like a bowling trophy. All right. I'm good at it or I'm bad at it. I don't give a shit. It's just like a thing I do. I love to do this. If I get an award, thank you for the recognition. But you know what? That award isn't going to fucking pay my bills. I just want the satisfaction of doing it.
Right.
But when you do something and people are just like stoked, either like, this is really great, or this is a fucking terrible thing about the subject matter of what you've done.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've made it.
Well, you've told a story that needs to be told.
Yeah. And you did it in a way that actually did what these things are supposed to do, which is emotionally and intellectually impact people, touch them, and tickle those areas to make them think. And as intelligent creatures, when we think, we should seek to have discourse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And she did it with this wonderful, like, empathy and relatability.
Yeah. I mean, I would say with the elegance of a maestro.
Yeah. I
mean, this was
warm. I'm sorry. I'm fanning myself.
So, God, all right. Old time listeners know about this problem. So we have hit that part in the season where it's not quite air conditioning time, but we've turned the heat off. Unfortunately, even with the heat on, it still moves air.
Yeah.
Right. So we have the heat off because then it gets too hot. But in this room, this 10x6 studio, the extra room that we've been using for 3 years, It is uncomfortably, intimately hot.
God.
I feel like the heat is just, it is an unacceptable level of intimate contact with me that I wish I could tell it, please stop. I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it is swallowing. It is hotter than a bitch in here. Fuck. And it doesn't actually get better with the air conditioning, because once we close that door, it just, yeah. So that's right, listeners. You're going to be hearing all about, God damn, it's hot in here, up until October.
Yeah.
Anyway, technically speaking, movie is beautiful. Clean, clear shots, colors constant all the way through, all the aspects. The DPs did great. I can't think of anything other than the Frank Paula scene, right? We can just kind of erase that. And even that technically was fine, because it was still clear, lit. You could see it wasn't the only guesswork was, what?
Why is this in the movie?
Yeah.
But,
and the performances were fantastic. And, Kimberly Levin did stunningly beautiful job putting together this story. And when I say, like no harsh, nothing was in your face. This is clearly a movie with an agenda, and they all should be. Yeah, this is something to see. And again, just another masterclass of lessons.
Yeah.
You're bringing up the tracking of time.
Oh, yeah.
It was beautifully done, like you said. And the funny thing is, in indie film, you can get away with that.
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood can't. If they didn't have access to CGI and shit, if they were told by a studio suit, I want this done organically, I don't want any VFX, anything, I want this, someone else in the next office would be like, pull the plug. Do you know how much fucking money it's going to cost to keep people on retainer?
For a year?
Yeah. And, to go like 3 months with no shooting and stuff. Because you can't just like bring everyone in.
Right.
Do some shooting and then send them home and say you're done. You have to keep them employed, because then when you want to do the next batch, you're going to either get you have to go find all different people. You've got to do all those contracts and shit over again. And it costs you usually twice. And then you end up with less, because all the great people that you got the tops of their fields are already doing other fucking work. And then you're getting like the C and D group.
Right.
Who nobody's hiring, but they're available.
I mean, alternatively, you work intensely complicated contracts with the actors,
right,
to keep them, right, to the point where like they can't accept other jobs, know.
But then you get actors like Tom Hanks, who have more power in Hollywood than God. When he did Castaway, he shot a whole new movie in between, because they had the beginning of Castaway, and then he needed to lose all that weight.
Right.
So he's like, well, I'm not just going to sit and do nothing. I mean, this is what I do. That's an enormous amount of time. He hopped on a project, and they shot an entire film. He ended up losing the weight, and they went back to Castaway. Like, I think it was it 6 months, 7 months? Anyway, crazy,
Right.
But that's not normal. Because there's only one Tom Hanks, and there's maybe like 7 or 8 other people in Hollywood who could pull that off without.
I mean, unfortunately, I feel like there could be a few more Tom Hankses in the world. You said there's only one. I'm just saying, if there were more of him, it wouldn't be a bad thing.
Oh yeah, no. But I'm just saying, there's not a lot of people with that clout.
Yeah.
And balls to do that, because you just don't say no to Tom. I wouldn't.
Tom Hanks.
I wouldn't. Like, the guy clearly knows what he's fucking doing. Who am I to step up in his shit and tell him what's going on? Absolutely not. Anything else about this film that?
No, I think we covered it.
Out? I think so. It's a story that needed to be told.
Yeah.
And this is 8 years old.
That's true.
And it's even more relevant today. Isn't that a fucking mess?
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. I do want to bring up Miles.
Yes.
So, yesterday
we recorded.
We were on Disc Dump Podcast, as a guest with our friend Miles Trout.
Yeah. I don't know when he's dropping the episode, so I don't want to spoil anything about it.
Oh, yeah. No. Just that it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
As we mentioned in the last episode, Miles has, had a kind of a go.
Well, I mean, he's had a family tragedy.
Yeah. And just like Kenny from Channel of the Living Dead, we're still bringing them up because you still need to go out and listen to things and help people. Not going to go on the whole big bandwagon with that. But it was nice. We will be having Miles on the show. We are going to break from our movie review. And I'm just going to say this, it's not a spoiler. We're going to do a Trejo tribute.
A celebration
of Danny Trejo. And because Miles is like one of the people who truly appreciates him the way we do. So, we're going to talk about basically just Danny. So that'll be coming
in a couple weeks.
Yeah. We said within the month.
Yeah.
We'll get that. I'll have that put together so we have a structure and then we'll record it. And love Miles so much. He's just so much fun. He's another, he and Kenny both are just so genuine.
Yeah.
And as most podcasters are, but there are those folks out there you can tell, it's the whole, the influencer thing. I think once you hit influencer level, I haven't seen too many people who have like stuck to true. They kind of like,
you pick a brand and you do everything to protect that brand, I guess.
I mean, look at us. Look at us. Look at this success. We aren't doing a fucking thing to cater to anybody. We're going nowhere.
That's right.
And we don't give a shit. Don't care. We immensely appreciate every listener. So we just want you guys to know that. We hope that this continues, to keep helping people and getting those little tidbits floating around is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Little inspiration and stuff. That's why we do it, and we always say it, take it with a grain of salt, like with everything else, because nobody in this business has all the answers. Don't fucking listen to anybody, but give a half listen to everybody, right? Yeah. You decide. Now, a lot of what we go by is experience in as much as we've experienced various things. Some of it's opinion, but you do what's right for you. But we're just trying to like put another window in that wall that you can look out of.
Yeah.
And we love doing it. So with that,
check out our website,
lordsofmisruleproductions.com. Everything is there. All the links to all the things. BF McGillicuddy will be coming. I've got 3 episodes lined up. 4 episodes lined up. Yes, 4. I want that 5th one so I can record them all in one night and get this going. So we're almost there. Lily gave me the idea for the 4th one.
Yeah.
I followed up on it and it's good stuff. Everywhere our podcast is, if it's not somewhere and you think it should be, drop us a note. Our email addresses
are on the website.
Are on the website. Connection to the BF's McGillicuddy's YouTube, our Facebook page, blah, 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 all the stuff. Rate, review, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. We would very much appreciate it because it helps us show up in the algorithm searches.
Right.
Because apparently it's the only way to get ahead is to beg for fucking clicks.
Please click on stuff. Anywho.
All right. So that's our public service announcement.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Yeah.
Until next time.
This is Jim.
And this is Danny.
Keep doing what you're doing, B-Siders.
Bye.